Hey everyone, I wanted to introduce you to Katherine Maxwell. She is the owner of the Blue Mountain Tea Company, which is on here, Ontario Street. Most of you know that I am an avid coffee drinker. I do love my good, strong coffee, but an afternoon treat for myself is usually a really beautiful tea and in the evening. And certainly when I discovered this place, I thought it was fabulous because not only does Katherine have lots of tea that is tasty, but there's lots of teas that she carries here that are actually medicinal in their herbal properties, and they can really support your immune system, your digestive health. If you need help sleeping, if you need help with, even I saw you had red raspberry leaf there too.
You don't even need me.
Anyway, this is Katherine, and why don't you just tell us a little bit first about the store and how it came to be and where people can find you.
Okay, so the store is 66 here Ontario Street, right in downtown Collingwood, in the first block between 1st and 2nd. We have been here almost 3 years. It'll be our 3-year anniversary on December 5th, so we're pretty excited about that.
Very good.
We have really grown our stock, so we've gone from maybe 30 teas to over 160 different teas and herbals now. And actually it's people like you, Melissa, that have sort of prompted us to bring in more straight herbs. So we have everything from raspberry leaf to catnip to, you know, lavender, things that we're more used to, peppermint, things like that, as well as our teas. And we sort of bucket our teas between single estates, so organic, straight black teas or green teas, all the way to fun stuff like teas that are just nuts and berries and fruits. So a real assortment.
And you even have a tea that is Georgian Bay.
I do.
Related.
I like naming my tea. So I have you'll find Metcalf Rock, hot chocolate mint, and Collingwood breakfast and things like that because we relate. I mean, they're beautiful blends, and I'm inspired by the area that we live in. We live in such a gorgeous area, and so we bring in teas that we think sort of reflect the nature of our environment. So lots of organic teas here, probably 80 to 90% organic. The remainder are normally from small batch growers in places where, quite frankly, they don't even have the money to use the fertilizers or even the chemicals, and also some teas actually like the bugs. It makes them taste better, like an oolong. Yeah.
Well, I know that, I mean, if the chocolate mint rooibos doesn't get your taste buds going, it's certainly a favorite in our house. We also love the immunity, and this time of year, it's a staple. I mean, we'll brew it consistently every night. It tastes amazing. So would there be some tips, actually, before we get to that, the difference between tea that people will buy from you, so I'm just going to grab, this is a tea that all the tea is beautifully laid out here. It's a really bright store. In fact, it took us a few minutes to find out where we could do this video right now because the lighting in here is fantastic. But anyway, the loose leaf teas are what Katherine carries. What's the difference between loose leaf tea versus tea that people buy in bags?
In a bag? So that's a good question. It's mostly, so typically a tea you buy in a tea bag. It was an innovation in the 1800s where a guy sent out samples in a little sachet and people didn't realize and actually put it in to make a blend. So that was pretty funny, and they thought, we're gonna have to stop this, I think. Let's just keep going. Hey, hello. Larry, how are you? I'm good. Doing a video. So anyway, tea bags are normally fine ground, chopped up little bits of tea.
Yeah.
And so the flavor is meant to just pop and be done. Very intense. It's also called the sweepings or the findings, and it literally is the stuff that's swept up off the machines.
So you're going to get a better quality when you brew it yourself.
Totally different quality. The leaf itself retains more of the nutrients as well as the flavor when it's not been mucked about and chopped and ground up into fine amounts. Okay. So that's why we do loose leaf. I mean, once you've had a cup of loose leaf orange pekoe,
you can't go back.
You can't go back. It's so different.
Unless you're traveling. Right? I mean, sometimes the little tea bags are handy if you're traveling, but I know you also carry them here where you can make your own tea bags.
Little tea bags that you can actually just stuff a teaspoon in and tie off the sachet and put it in your mug, so you can do it that way as well.
So when people are brewing their tea at home, loose leaf tea, are there a couple of tips that you always recommend?
Yeah.
Because you know that you could make the tea and it could not taste the way you guys make it here, right?
There's 4 things, and we actually put this on our website. So the perfect cup of tea requires 4 things: the right amount of water, the right amount of tea, the right temperature of the water, and the steeping time. And I would add the 5th thing would be the quality of the water. So like we have a high filtration system in here. So even though Collingwood water is great now, we also filter out everything else, the iron and the impurities from an old building. So as an example, a green tea does not like boiling water.
Right.
Think of asparagus, how bitter and chewy it gets if you boil it and overcook it. Green tea is the same way. So with green tea, you want to do not boiling, like 175, 180, and you only want to do it for a 2-minute steep.
Okay.
Now compare that to the immunity you were talking about, an herb, or a rooibos, for example. they want 5 minutes, and they want boiling water. So you want to do a minimum steep of 5 minutes to get the flavor.
So it extracts the flavor differently the longer you let it steep.
So tea is very delicate. So that's why a lot of people will come in and say, I don't drink green tea, I don't like green tea. It's because they boiled the water and they've let it just sit, and then it tastes awful. And
let's talk about some of the health benefits of tea. I mean, there is, as you said earlier, there are herbs in here that you carry that are specific for digestive support, for reproductive health. Are there teas that you find that you recommend more than others for people's health and well-being?
I do. So probably the top requests we get in here from a health and well-being perspective is tea for cold and flu, right? And tea for digestion. And then the third thing is probably women's tea, whether menstrual cramping, things like that, or where I am, menopausal tea, right? So we have teas for everything. Oh, and how can I forget sleep tea?
Yeah,
like a chamomile has trouble sleeping. And something. Not even chamomile. Chamomile. It's funny you say that. Chamomile is the main tea in our tummy tea.
Okay.
Because chamomile is actually an anti-spasmodic, anti-inflammatory. So people think of it as a sleepy tea, but it's actually more than that.
Okay.
So that's what chamomile is all about. So we really love the fact that our teas are able to bring some wellness and some healing. So like the immunity, we've already talked about. The sleep tea, valerian. Valerian's king. If you have valerian in a sleep tea, it's likely going to turn off the monkey brain and help you get to sleep, right? And then the tummy tea is great for settling your belly.
Great. Yeah. Well, the store's getting busy. We're going to have to wrap this up. So thanks again for your time. And certainly come on down and check out the store. They're great help here. They can help you figure out what you'd like, and chances are you'll be leaving with more than you anticipated, because once you start smelling the jars and you realize all the benefits to tea, you may take home more than you expected.
Yeah.
So have an awesome day, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye.